Welcome, I'm Dr. McKay. This new series of videos are space engineers' recreations of the history of NASA spaceflight. I intend to cover each launch and step NASA took in its march towards the stars. And what better place to start than in the beginning? So, in the beginning there was nothing. wait. Too far. Let's fast forward a bit. Following the end of World War II, a nuclear arms race evolved between the US and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, lacking the air coverage to deploy nuclear weapons, turned to intercontinental ballistic missile technology. This in turn opened the door to allow for the ability to place artificial satellites in orbit. This led to, in October 1957, the first man-made satellite, Sputnik 1, launched by the Soviet Union. In response, the USA, on July 29, 1958, Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act. NASA is born. It began operation on October 1, 1958. Its first mission to put a man into space and safely return him to the surface, preferably before the Soviet Union. On December 17, 1958, Project Mercury was announced. The Mercury Project's goal was to send the first man into space. Unfortunately, the Soviet Union put the first human, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, into a single orbit aboard Vostok 1 on April 12, 1961. The USA, in response, on May 5, 1961, launched Alan Shepard, the first American astronaut, into a suborbital flight. Now we know the history, let's recreate the launch. The first thing we need is a rocket. The rocket NASA created to make this flight was the Redstone rocket. This 25-meter tall, 1.7 diameter ballistic missile consisted of two parts. The single-stage Redstone launch vehicle and the Mercury crew capsule. Together, the vehicle is known as the Mercury Redstone. On May 5, 1961, Alan Shepard boarded this vehicle and waited to make history. My recreation will recreate the flight of the Mercury Redstone 3 and the named Freedom 7 capsule. Its journey, like all rockets, starts at the launch pad. The rocket is powered by one Rocketdyne A7 engine. This engine ran for 143 seconds, putting out 78,000 pounds of thrust. After the main engine shuts down, the capsule is then separated from the booster and continues to its apogee, in which it starts to then fall back towards the Earth. Then, when the time is right, a parachute would deploy to gently land the craft in the ocean. So let's recreate this launch in Space Engineers. First things first, we need to move the launch tower to the rocket. Once in place, the astronaut and crew can travel up the elevator to what later would be known as the White Room. This room is where the astronaut and crew would be able to access the capsule. The astronaut, Alan Shepard, would squeeze into this tiny capsule and basically get buttoned in by the launch crew. Once inside, the tower then can be retracted. And once the tower has been retracted, the rocket is now then free to launch. So let's begin the recreation. 3, 2, 1. Launch. Main engines on. And we have liftoff of Freedom 7, the Redstone rocket. Separation of the rocket has happened. The Redstone rocket will now fall back down to Earth, while the capsule remains in space to reach its apogee. And once it slows down, it now then falls back down towards the parachute as deployed to bring the capsule safely down for a splashdown in the ocean. Safely splashing down in the ocean, awaiting rescue from the US Naval Group. The total flight time of the first American crewed launch into space took roughly 15 minutes and 28 seconds. The next mission carried Gus Grissom on the same rocket to recreate the same launch on July 21st, 1961. After which, NASA scrapped the Redstone rocket in favor of a more powerful rocket, which we will get into in the next video. So if you enjoyed this recreation and history of the Redstone rocket, feel free to hit the like button, don't forget to comment and subscribe, it really does mean a lot, and let me know what you thought of my recreation and history. All that said, I'm Dr. McKay, thank you all for watching this recreation, and until the next video where we explore the Mercury Atlas rocket, I'll catch you all then. Thank you for watching, cheers and goodbye.